Hello, fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo rSlash ChoosingBeggars. So our story for today is from wSlash Roman 6 with the title of Moving Guy Paid for Doing No Moving. Not 100% sure if this is a CB situation. A few weeks ago, I decided to hire 3 moving guys for a few hours to move as much as they could into a POD I rented. I mostly wanted them there to get a few large furniture items from upstairs down into the POD, as it is just myself, 16 months of old son, and a pregnant wife. They were scheduled to show up at 10 AM and work 2 hours until noon, at which point I had a code I would give them and they would get paid for their work. Super easy, have used their service before. I took off and got a trailer for my Jeep in case there was any overflow, and to take things we would need before the POD arrived. I get back to the house at 9:30 AM, 30 minutes before they're set to arrive, and they had already been there for 15 minutes, already talking to my wife. This is how it went down the moment I walked into the door. Wife: these mover guys have been lecturing me for 15 minutes on how they can't do their job correctly unless they have shrink wrap for the couch. Me: well, I got 4 packages of moving blankets and that should be more than enough to cover the things in the POD. Head mover guy: we can't guarantee your things won't get scratched a little if we don't have shrink wrap. Me: that's fine, I mostly hired you guys to get the heavy stuff in the POD and pack what you can in during the time you're here. HMG: okay boss. Then he gives me this weird salute. He then tells his 2 guys, both young dudes, there to just move stuff and get the job done, to move the stuff downstairs, as I had hired them to move heavy stuff downstairs. I would say a solid 10 minutes go by before my wife comes storming into the garage where I was packing last minute items, visibly mad and had her ends whipped. Wife: they say they won't move the gun safe until we open it and prove there are no guns in there. I had locked the key in an ammo box that was already packed. Me: just tell him to leave it, I'll do it later. It is not a high quality one and one person can move it with a dolly very easy, thinking drying machine. 2 seconds later, the head moving guy comes storming out to the garage as well, visibly flustered, and says he can't move anything more because of the hostile working conditions. Apparently my wife said in pissing that we hired 2 high school kids one time and they moved all of our stuff in a few hours, and he thought that was the biggest affront to his abilities that she could have possibly have done. HMG: I'm going to need cash or check up front to finish this job, or I'm going to have charged my 2-hour minimum and leave. Conveniently the same amount as if they did the work. Me: well, I'll pay you after you do your job, though the moving services as agreed upon. I'm assuming at this point he looks for any excuse to cut out the middleman and get paid directly, and does this often. HMG: at this point, after working in these conditions, lacking proper supplies needed, shrink wrap, I can't complete this job and will need my 2-hour minimum. Me: I can see the POD from where I'm standing, empty, and they had been there for 45 minutes. You guys haven't even loaded a single thing into the POD. You have been moving things from room to room and telling my pregnant wife she is hostile and unprofessional. HMG: I can see you are stressed who wouldn't be moving, but we can't work with her in there and lacking the correct supplies. Me: look man, you can finish the job I hired you to do so, and you will get paid at the end of the job, or you can get off of my property and I will hire someone else. HMG: that is actually theft of service. I will call the police, come down to arrest you if you don't pay my 2-hour minimum. Me: that's not how that works, and if you have your lawyer's contact info, I would be glad to let mine know he will have some work soon. HMG: really bro? You would pay a lawyer over just paying me and my guys my minimum? If you don't, we will have to call the police for theft of service. Use this term like 80 times, assuming it works for him usually. Me: okay, you can get off my property and I'm calling the police. I hope that was the clue he needed, that I wasn't going to give in to his scam, but he was sticking to his guns. Amazingly, the sheriff's department showed up on record time, about 20 minutes, and started talking to the guy. My wife insisted on talking to the officer since she had the most contact with the guy, so she did first, then me. Shockingly, not doing a job you were hired to do, then demanding for money is not theft of service. The poor officer was out in front of our house talking to this guy for almost 2 hours, yelling at my neighbors about how cheap we are and demanding we pay for his workers $100 since we helped him up for so long. After bringing us weird contracts saying, I agree to pay $100 because I demanded the impossible, they finally left without a red cent. Funny thing is that if they had just done their job, they would have been out of there an hour earlier with $200 in their pockets. We couldn't find any mover available on such short notice, so I ended up moving everything by myself. Took me all day and I was pretty much dead by the end of it, but that CB didn't get his money for nothing. I did learn not to hire the cheapest movers. The more you spend, the less crazy comes with it. TLDR, moving guys show up 45 minutes early. Say it's impossible to move without shrink wrap, move things from room to room and nothing into POD, stop working, demand money, get cops called, leave empty-handed. Since this seems to be a running theme, here are some clarifications. No, my wife is not a tramp, and I don't just lick her boots. She's an incredibly kind person and soft-spoken, but everyone has their breaking points. Moving plus the movers finding every little thing possible to blow up about will get even the most saintly of us flustered. If one pregnant woman can make 3 grown men walk off a job and demand payment, I don't know what to tell you. The gun safe was empty, but they couldn't verify because I had locked it and packed the key. Yes, I should have kept it open, but I didn't. The key acts as opening handle. I told them I would move it myself and they agreed. I don't know what happened in the time frame of after the gun safe questions and my wife mentioning we hired 2 high school kids at last time. I don't think she said it in a snide way, but in passing comparing out last move since they were being difficult. That's when everyone charged into the garage like it was some principle and everyone was about to fight at the end of the pavement. That's all I got, so stop calling my wife a tramp, smiley face. Alright, so in my opinion, I think this is more of a scam than a beggar situation. The mover guys tried their hardest to find everything wrong about the work, like keep complaining while didn't do anything, and then demand for a cash payment, which will cut out the third party. It's like super cringy of them to even attempt to demand for money after they have done nothing. These mover guys probably have done these scams 1,000 of times before. Seeing how he just repeatedly spewing out BS about the theft of services 80 times. It's great that OP didn't just give in and let him have it. It's funny that, they just randomly throwing false terms at you and threaten to call the police. I mean, when you're dealing with a grown-up who is relatively experienced in life, then it's the attorney you'll be dealing with. When OP brought up about how he will call his lawyer, the mover guys immediately got scared but still tried to double down. In the very end, they still wanted to take $100 from OP, but nope, they left with a single cent. Ironically, should they work like normal people, then they would have received $200 otherwise. As for OP's wife, I don't think she was doing anything wrong. First of all, we all know how pregnant women's emotion and temper may be. And second of all, it's because the movers didn't do anything while keep spewing out BS that got her mad, and then the movers even insisted on how that was a hostile working environment. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Dank Doggo appreciates your time. If you enjoy our content and want to see more of us, stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button or Doggo will cry. Also, you can always tell us your Doggo comments, your experiences in the comment section. I will catch up with you guys later in the next video.